if we're going to go through specifically the findings here, based again on your history in that right knee with the ACL and everything, the ACL looks to be intact, the MCL looks to be intact, but the meniscus is definitely torn. The good news about it is the tear that we see most commonly, and it is the type of tear that usually can get better with rehab if you have a really good baseline of strength already. So as far as the types of tears, there's a lot of different types of meniscus tears. Some are more serious than others. You have what's called a complex horizontal or oblique tear. They call it a longitudinal tear because it is usually a nice long line. Those are ones that can be surgical candidates if you want it to be, just based on the line of tear. They can stitch it back together. The problem with where you have your tear is it's in an area that doesn't get a lot of blood flow, so sometimes you resort to a surgical intervention before you really give rehab to take a chance. But I've seen rehab, strengthening the knee, stability, a lot of rotational type drills really be successful. I know you said you've been having to lay off training for a while. Yeah. I think with a tear like this, the most important thing is to figure out how and where we can appropriately enter you back in without flaring it up. I think your main goal with a tear like this, especially in that posterior side, the back side of the knee, is going to be limiting inflammation at all costs, right? Yeah. The inflammation is going to continue to swell and limit you pain-wise and stop you from training. So again, the rest of the meniscus looks pretty good overall, right? So the question is that tear something that maybe has been there for a while and whatever you did tweaked it? Unfortunately, meniscus tears tend to be flared up with rotational stuff. A lot of your posing, pushing down, rotating that lower leg. It's a lot of that, which is not great for that area, which is probably why you have what you have going on. And the right knee, obviously just being more vulnerable, it's what's caused it. But we definitely have a tear there based on the imaging. I know this has been a while coming, but the rest of the knee as of this imaging looks pretty good. So I would say, as a physical therapist who sees this all the time, we just got to start working on it and see what we can do to get you loading it without pain. And sometimes that can be difficult, right? But it's something we can try to manage.
So when I initially injured the knee, it was 3 days before the New York Pro.
Yeah.
I was doing legitimately just turning around.
Yeah.
And my body was feeling so heavy, being tired, it just stayed planted. And when I was turning, I felt the shift. And for that quick 2 seconds, 3 seconds after, you're like, okay, what is it? Is it gonna get better? It just wasn't getting better. So I knew something was going on. And then the day before the New York Pro, and I was shaving in the bathroom, and I just hit the ground. From
that high
awkward
pain
twist,
level,
I hit the ground, and I tried to get up and walk out, and Juan and my dad were just sitting there. They looked at me and they saw my face, and they knew something was going on, and it re-flared back up. And do you think that second time could have potentially been a bigger tear, or?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think, in my opinion, again, there's no way to know this without having before and after imaging, you probably had some sort of irregularity there all along, right, based on your history, and you continuing to push it here and continuing to do those rotational and obviously pushing training really hard, your body hit a point where it couldn't tolerate that force anymore, and that's usually where a tear happens, or it just starts a new inflammation cycle and now you're aware of a smaller tear.
Okay.
Usually once it's there, it's movements that just restart that kind of panic cycle in the body, less than making it bigger, but each one of those you have tends to make it more challenging to fix because your body protects it more and more.
So do you think at some point this is going to be, I'm going to need surgery on this at some point, or do you?
It's hard to say. I would be very reluctant to say that without a solid 4 to 6 weeks of really focused rehab. If that is not successful, then you can start to think about it. I've just seen so many people rush to a surgical intervention and still have problems 6 months to a year later, or the repair fails, etc. So especially again with someone as strong of a leg as you have, we need to find a way to get super small rotational stability muscles working, really load it in a very controlled, progressive way, compared to a lot of the stuff that you've been doing is just kind of bigger picture training things and hasn't been as knee focused, right? That's where you would need to go, and we need to make sure we minimize inflammation, swelling, all that type of stuff. We were just talking about you getting your blood work done regularly. That's all stuff that can really help keep in check and minimize inflammation, so we want to do everything we can. But yeah, I would say sometimes an injection can be a helpful supplement to the rehab.
What kind of injection?
So like corticosteroid injection.
Oh.
If we can't get inflammation under control.
But I'm natural.
But if we can't, that's sometimes a positive thing that can help get more out of the rehab. But I rarely, and you know, even insurance is on board with this, like rarely do they approve a surgery without at least 4 to 6 weeks of rehab beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next steps, how much rehab per week would you recommend for me to get through this Olympia prep, hopefully without any further? Because the one thing I've noticed is, again, like you mentioned, it's the instability of it.
100%.
And you know me, when it comes to posing, I'm in here for hours just perfecting it. And there's times where I notice, my knee's getting a little more tired. And I remember at the New York Pro itself, my whole posing routine was so limited.
Yep.
Even though people like loved it, it was so simplistic because it had to be. Like I had no option to do any kind of flair to it because I had to minimize the movement and pressure that I put on this knee. Yeah. And I remember going off the stage, I literally had to physically carry myself off and limp.
Yeah, you just can't put weight through it.
I just couldn't put weight on it anymore.
Yeah, and that's the level that we need to make sure we avoid completely at all costs, right? And when you do a show like that, trying to prepare for what you're preparing for, it's a little bit of like no pain, no gain, we just got to do it, right? Yeah. But where we are now, for the goals that you have coming up in the coming months, we need to really be on it, whether that's, you know, stuff on the table, all the hands-on type of stuff just to manage tightness, etc., whether that's giving you exercises to do on your own. Luckily, you're very knowledgeable with the body yourself, right? Coach, etc. That helps. We can give you a lot of it. You're going to be working on stuff for sure every single day, though. Okay. There's really no way around it. And in fact, like especially in the early stages when we're really trying to just get the knee comfortable with some loading again, I have people doing stuff twice a day to some extent. You know, short duration stuff, frequency is going to be much higher than intensity in the beginning, but that's going to be the way to get your body to trust the knee again, and that's the kind of first barrier that we have to get through. And if we can do that without inflammation spiking, then, you know, the strength thing's the easiest part.
Perfect. All right.
Cool. Yeah, so, you know, we got it. We got goals ahead of us. Tear can't stop us now.
Man, I've been thrown the worst in situations, and trust me when I say there's nothing holding me back from this. We're gonna shock the world. Another day, another chest day. So you guys seen the results, and at the end of the day, we have to work with it. We did it for the New York Pro. We're gonna continue to do it for the Olympia, and we're not gonna slow down. There's some parameters we need to put around our actual training in order to make sure we're still maximizing each session, but at the same time, making sure we protect it. And as much as it sucks, you know, getting that official confirmation, like you always know what it is, but like that official confirmation puts a little bit of, you know, uneasiness, I guess. But like I mentioned, man, we've been through worse. We're gonna get through worse too. So all in all, I love this sport. There's ups and downs, but there's a will, there's a way. One thing when it comes to prioritizing safety, and something that this knee taught me, was there's things that we can do in head to prevent. And I feel like I haven't been doing a good job doing that. And I've been blessed with somewhat good health in my early bodybuilding career, but this is a game of longevity. So right now, we're taking some time before each session, making sure we're warming up the joints around the area that we're working. And being, as shoulders tends to be already a trouble area, it's something that we gotta double down on every single week. So, safe sets, baby, safe sets. So some of you guys may remember, but we've been staying religious with this. This is the first time I've been tracking my exercises ever in an entire prep. And I'm keeping it light right now, just only focusing on specific movements for specific exercises, or specific body parts, better yet. And we have been progressing so much in strength over this, you know, last 8 weeks of being in prep. Damn, we've been in prep for like 8 weeks. Wow. Yeah, this is like episode 8 or 9. Man, we've been in prep for a while. But it's crazy to see, you know, with you actually focusing in on the rep schemes, the movement patterns. I've been recording all of my sets just so I can go back and see where I went wrong, making sure depth is there, all of it. So being more in tune, having more data, it's only gonna help me from, you know, now to the rest of my prep, and honestly mentally more than anything too. So right now, this is our final warm-up set before we head up to 5 plates. So my rule of thumb is, once we hit 12 reps on a specific weight, that's when we can progress to the next one, whether it's a quarter or a plate. So last week we hit 4 1/4 for 12 reps, and then we did our first test set, 4 or 5 days ago at 5 plates. We got 5 biscuits. But we only got 4 reps, so the goal is to get more than 4 reps.
Come on. Good. Let's go. Come on, forward. Let's go. Let's go. Good.
Oh my God.
Better than last week. Come on.
This ain't no lightweight. You get that like little nervous tick before. That's how you know, man.
Beat it though.
Bro, I'm telling you, you set a number, a range, like you kind of beat yourself every week. Bro, it's like something's in you innately, you won't fail. I don't know what it is, bro. It's insane. It's the best thing I've ever made. I haven't been this strong ever. I'm just moving weight, feeling good. I'm making sure I'm connecting with the muscle, man. It's fucking wild.
bro.
You too damn big.
Man, we gotta get a training video in one day.
Bro, I'm waiting on
training
you.
here.
Man, we both in the prep for the same thing. It'll be dope.
How about I go to Dallas next week? Hani and I are training together. When I get back, let's get together. All right, bro. I'm crazy, man.
Y'all heard that here. We're gonna go through a session soon. He gonna put me through it. It's gonna be dope, man. That's the best part about training in an environment like this, man. Not only do I have Christian, who's my new training partner, he just actually moved up here from Jersey, but we have some of the best in the world coming up. Just making sure you stay accountable, man. I'm a young buck. They don't have to come up and talk to me and mentor me and help me, but they do so out of just respect and the fact that we see us, you know, brothers in iron type shit. They see us in here grinding, doing the same shit on the same goal. It's fucking awesome. It is currently September 8th, which means the new Alphalete launch goes live in just under 2-day time. It is releasing at 12 p.m. CST, 1 p.m. EST, and what's that, 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. PST? I don't know my time zones, I'm all over the place, but yeah, 3 hours behind the EST time. But all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, we're starting to get a little bit more in-depth with training. We're getting more in depth with the actual process of the Olympia prep itself. But prior, we had a lot of dope collabs. We had a lot of crazy things going. But after our next trip, which is tomorrow, we're actually shutting it down and focusing on getting in a set routine for the Olympia. And that's when we're actually gonna start taking you along the journey and documenting a little bit more about the true behind the scenes matters that's going on. Again, we had a lot of adjustments that we didn't highlight just yet, but it's coming soon. And we're excited, man. It's time. And, you know, one thing I want to leave on and cap off on is the fact that, you know, a lot of people have been asking me about, you know, manifesting and what does it truly mean and what does it mean to me and all that craziness, guys. And a lot of you guys might not realize, but this series is called Manifestation. The first ever series that we ever done was called Against the Odds. We prepped for our pro card during COVID year and we got the job done. It was against the odds. A lot of things went wrong, to say the least, during that prep, and a lot of things happened during that prep, but again, against all of those odds, we rose. And then from there, we had something to prove. And that series was the biggest humbler of them all, right? Prepping for the DC Pro. And do I think we had something to prove, and do I think we proved it? I do. I truly do. But the job's not done. And now we're focusing on manifesting the biggest height of them all, which is winning the Olympia and cementing our name in history forever. So we're manifesting it, man. If you don't envision it up here, if you don't truly believe it, if you're not confident enough to speak it, then you don't deserve to be on that stage and actually own that trophy, that first place victory, and being called Mr. Olympia. And I don't know about you guys, but I believe it. And what I believe in more than anything, it's the hard work. It's everything that we're doing, from the opportunity from the beginning that I had up until now. I'm betting on myself, and I can control that outcome. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Continue manifesting your dreams, whatever it is, chase them, be relentless, and head down, hood up mentality all the way to it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. We are on our way to 10K subs. If you are watching this and you aren't subscribed, subscribe. I appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Launch coming soon. Use code ALEXTOPLYN, and I'll see you guys in the next video.